The artist Eric Ravilious rented a farm near Shalford, and his name appears on a war memorial inside the church where this walk starts. The route takes in some lovely Essex countryside with bluebell woods, thatched cottages and riverside paths. It passes the farm where Ravilious lived and the nearby bridge he painted. You can see some of his work at the Fry Gallery in Saffron Walden, 15 miles northwest of Shalford. Good afternoon everyone. Today I'm on my own and I'm in Essex. I'm in the lovely little village of Shalford, which is not far from Braintree, if you know Essex well. I'm doing a little walk from country walking again. This one is 6 miles long. We're here at the parish church, St Andrew's, in the village, and I've just parked the car at the church car park. You're going to want OS Explorer map 195. This is quite an old version, so we'll see how in date it still is. So, a little bit of history. The artist Eric Ravilious lived in Shalford for a period of his life, and we're going to be seeing sort of a few little bits of history related to his life, I guess, along this route. So it's going to be a good little sort of themed walk. We're going to be seeing the Iron Bridge, which is the inspiration of one of his most famous paintings. And yeah, I think he was an artist for like the war effort, and it was quite a tragic way that he died, really. So I thought it was be quite an interesting little walk to do, seeing as I do like a bit of history. So we're starting at the church. We're going to have a look in the church first, and then we'll head off on the walk. So you know the score. Let's go through that door. Eric William Ravilious was born on the 22nd of July 1903 and died on the 2nd of September 1942. He was a British painter, designer, book illustrator and wood engraver. He grew up in East Sussex and is particularly known for his watercolours of the South Downs and other English landscapes, which examine English landscape and vernacular art with an off-kilter modernist sensibility and clarity. He served as a war artist and died when the aircraft he was in was lost off Iceland. Ravilious was born on the 22nd of July 1903 in Churchfield Road, Acton, London, the son of Frank Ravilious and his wife Emma. While he was still a small child, the family moved to Eastbourne in Sussex, where his parents ran an antique shop. Ravilious was educated at Eastbourne Grammar School, and in 1919 he won a scholarship to Eastbourne School of Art, and in 1922 another to study at the Design School at the Royal College of Art. In 1930, Ravilious met and married Eileen Lucy Terza Garwood, also an artist and engraver, whom he met at Eastbourne College of Art. They had 3 children, John Ravilious, the photographer James Ravilious, and Anne Ullman, editor of books on her parents and their work. Between 1930 and 1932, Ravilious and Garwood lived in Hammersmith, London, where there is a blue plaque on the wall of their house at the corner of Upper Mall and Welch Road. The building looks out onto the boat race course, and the couple held bathing and boat race parties. When Ravilious and Edward Borden, his good friend, graduated from the Royal College of Arts. They began exploring the Essex countryside in search of rural subjects to paint. Borden rented Brick House in Great Bardfield as a base, and when he married Charlotte Epton, his father bought it for him as a wedding present. Ravilious and Garwood lodged in Brick House with the Bordens until 1934, when they purchased Bank House at Castle Hedingham, which is now also marked by a blue plaque. So that was a little look inside the parish church here at Shalford. We're going to be heading sort of further into the village now, past the George pub, but we're not having a drink yet, and we'll get cracking with the walk. So you know what I'm going to say, all together now. Enough talking, let's get walking. There were eventually several other great Bardfield artists. In 1933, Ravilious and his wife painted murals at the Midland Hotel in Morecambe. In November 1933, Ravilious held his first solo exhibition at the Zwemmer Gallery in London, titled An Exhibition of Watercolour Drawings. 20 of the 37 works displayed were sold. Ravilious engraved more than 400 illustrations and drew over 40 lithographic designs for books and publications during his lifetime. His first commission in 1926 was to illustrate a novel for Jonathan Cape. He went on to produce work both for large companies such as the Lansdowne Corporation and smaller, less commercial publishers such as the Golden Cockerel Press. His woodcut of two Victorian gentlemen playing cricket has appeared on the front cover of every edition of Wisden Cricketer's Almanac since 1938. In the mid-1930s, Ravilious took up lithography, making a print of New Haven Harbour for the Contemporary Lithograph Scheme and a set of full-page lithographs, mostly of shop interiors, for a book called High Street. Following a trip in a submarine in the war, he produced Submarine Dream, a set of 11 lithographs. In February 1936, Ravilious held his second exhibition at the Zwemmer Gallery, and again it was a success, with 28 out of the 36 paintings shown being sold. This exhibition also led to a commission from Wedgwood for ceramic designs. Throughout 1938 and 1939, Ravilious spent time working in Wales, the south of France, and at Aldborough in Suffolk to prepare works for his third one-man show, which was held at the Arthur Tooth and Sons Gallery in 1939. Apart from a brief experimentation with oils in 1930, inspired by the works of Johann Zoffany, Ravilious painted almost entirely in watercolour. He was especially inspired by the landscape of the South Downs around Beddingham. He frequently returned to Furlongs, the cottage of Peggy Angus. He said that his time there altered my whole outlook and way of painting. I think because the colour of the landscape was so lovely and the design so beautifully obvious that I simply had to abandon my tinted drawings. Some of his works, such as Tea at Furlongs, were painted there. Ravilious was commissioned to paint murals on the walls of the tea room on Victoria Pier at Colwyn Bay in 1934. After the pier's partial collapse, these were thought unrecoverable, but as of March 2018, one had been recovered in pieces, and it was hoped that a second could also be saved, along with parts of another by Mary Adshead from the Piers Auditorium. Prior to the outbreak of World War II, Ravilious aligned himself with anti-fascist causes, including lending his work to the 1937 exhibition Artists Against Fascism. He considered joining the military as a rifleman but was deterred by friends. He joined a Royal Observer Corps post in Hedingham at the outbreak of war. He was then accepted as a full-time salaried artist by the War Artists Advisory Committee in December 1939. He was given the rank of Honorary Captain in the Royal Marines and assigned to the Admiralty. In February 1940, he reported to the Royal Naval Barracks at Chatham Dockyard. While based there, he painted ships at the dockside, barrage balloons at Sheerness, and other coastal defences. I'm about halfway round on the walk now. Got a little bit lost earlier and I had to do a little bit of road walking, so it's cost me time, but halfway, so I thought I'd stop by the footpath under this big tree in the shade and have a bite to eat. It's about 2 o'clock now, so I could class it as a late lunch. Not got like tons and tons of food with me today, just mostly non-cooked stuff that's good energy bars, protein bars. Started getting into these cheap energy gels, supplements direct. You get them from like Holmes Bargains, Aldi, all your cheap shops. This one's cola flavour, electrolytes and caffeine. Just a good little boost just to keep you going, and it's about 3 mouthfuls in there, so it's just all you need really. Yeah, and some bars, some drink mixes from ration packs, cola or tutti frutti flavour. I think I'll go with cola today. And then I've got my own homemade trail mix. It's got mixed, unsalted, undry roasted nuts from a British Army Rat Pack, chocolate M&Ms, dried cranberries and raisins. Loads more peanut butter left over. I just eat that as it is. That's all come out of British Army Rat Packs. Got hot drinks if I want them, but to be honest with you, I don't. It's too hot out for them. And so like a caramel sesame seed bar from a British Army Rat Pack. They're teeth breakers, they are. They're not the nicest thing in the world. I'm thinking of maybe like warming one up to soften it down, and then it'll probably be more edible. Yeah. Oh, I'm starving. Dangerous Work at Low Tide 1940 depicts bomb disposal experts approaching a German magnetic mine on Whitstable Sands. 2 members of the team Ravilious painted were later awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. On May the 24th, 1940, Ravilious sailed to Norway aboard HMS Highlander, which was escorting HMS Glorious, and the force being sent to recapture Narvik. Highlander returned to Scapa Flow before departing for Norway a second time on the 31st of May 1940. From the deck of Highlander, Ravilious painted scenes of both HMS Ark Royal and HMS Glorious in action. HMS Glorious in the Arctic depicts Hawker Hurricanes and Gloucester Gladiators landing on the deck of Glorious as part of the evacuation of forces from Norway on the 7th to the 8th of June. The following evening, Glorious was sunk with great loss of life. On returning from Norway, Ravilious was posted to Portsmouth, from where he painted submarine interiors at Gosport and coastal defences at Newhaven. After Ravilious' third child was born in April 1941, the family moved out of Bank House to Ironbridge Farm near Shalford, Essex. The rent on this property was paid partly in cash and partly in paintings, which are among the few private works Ravilious completed during the war. In October 1941, Ravilious transferred to Scotland, having spent 6 months based at Dover. In Scotland, Ravilious first stayed with John Nash and his wife at their cottage on the Firth of Forth, and painted convoy subjects from the signal station on the Isle of May. At the Royal Navy Air Station in Dundee, Ravilious drew and sometimes flew in the Supermarine Walrus seaplanes based there. So here we are at probably the most important and probably nicest part of the entire Eric Ravilious themed Essex walk here at Shalford. So this is Ironbridge. This is not the original Ironbridge, but this is a modern version of it, but it's still the site of the original Ironbridge, which is right near Ironbridge Farm, which is a really lovely old sort of farmhouse, and Eric Ravilious rented that farmhouse and lived there for a short while before his early death, and he gave a lot of paintings away, including one of this bridge, to his landlord to pay us rent. But absolutely lovely. So this is, I believe this is the River Pant. There's nothing pants about this. Look at that. Lovely. Definitely the highlight of the walk, I think. In early 1942, Ravilious was posted to York, but shortly afterwards was allowed to return home to Shalford when his wife was taken ill. There he worked on his York paintings and requested a posting to a nearby RAF base while Garwood recovered. He spent a short time at RAF Debden before moving to RAF Sawbridgeworth in Hertfordshire. At Sawbridgeworth he began flying regularly in the de Havilland Tiger Moths based at the flying school there, and would sketch other planes in flight from the rear cockpit of the plane. On the 28th of August 1942, Ravilious flew to Reykjavik and then travelled on to RAF Cauderdans. The day he arrived there, the 1st of September, a Lockheed Hudson aircraft had failed to return from a patrol. The next morning 3 planes were dispatched at dawn to search for the missing plane, and Ravilious opted to join one of the crews. The plane he was on also failed to return, and after 4 days of further searching, the RAF declared Ravilious and the 4-man crew lost in action. His body was not recovered, and he is commemorated on the Chatham Naval Memorial. Welcome back everyone. As you can see, I'm back at my car here at the parish church of St Andrew here in Shalford. That is the end of this video and the end of this walk. It's been a really good little walk, this one actually. It surprised me. I've really enjoyed it. It's not been too hard going. There's been a couple of times when the navigation was a bit tricky, where the farmer's like ploughed the fields recently and of course ploughed out the footpaths, but not a lot you can do about that really. I found my way in the end anyway, so yeah, it was all good. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you still enjoyed watching the day walks and stuff that I do like that. Just get in the comments and let us know what you think. Until next time, take care of yourselves everyone, look after each other, stay safe, but remember, get out there and explore, life's too short. Cheers, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.